He stood inside the police station holding a crumpled complaint form in his shaking hands. He had come there as a father asking for justice. But instead, a police officer looked him in the eyes, tore his complaint into pieces, and told him to leave. What that officer didn't know was that the man standing in front of him had spent years helping people when nobody was watching. And by the end of that day, the police chief would make the entire station stand up and salute the very man they had humiliated. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe to Whispers of Heart 0.2, like this video, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Sometimes, one simple act of kindness can change a person's entire life. Marcus Williams was a 38-year-old single father living in a quiet neighborhood outside Atlanta, Georgia. He worked 2 jobs to provide for his 10-year-old daughter, Ava. Marcus wasn't rich. He didn't own a fancy car, and his small house needed repairs. But he had something he valued more than money: his word. Every morning, Marcus woke up before sunrise, packed Ava's lunch, and drove her to school before heading to work at a local grocery warehouse. In the evenings, he delivered food through a delivery app. Life was exhausting, but Marcus never complained. His daughter often asked him, "Dad, why do you always help everybody when you're already tired?" Marcus would smile and say, "Because, baby, you never know what someone else is carrying." One rainy Tuesday evening, Marcus was driving home when he saw an elderly woman standing beside the road. Her car had broken down, and she was struggling to hold an umbrella against the heavy wind. Marcus pulled over immediately. He spent nearly 30 minutes helping her move the car to safety and calling roadside assistance. When the woman offered him money, Marcus refused. "Just get home safe," he told her. He didn't know that someone had been watching. But a few days later, Marcus needed help himself. His daughter had left her backpack in a neighborhood park. Inside were her school tablet, homework, and a small notebook filled with drawings from her late mother. When Marcus returned to the park, the backpack was gone. He searched everywhere. Then a nearby security camera showed a man taking it. Marcus went to the local police station and filed a complaint. He waited quietly for almost an hour before Officer Reynolds called him to the desk. Marcus explained everything carefully. "My daughter's tablet is replaceable," he said. "But her mother's notebook isn't. Those drawings mean everything to her." Officer Reynolds barely looked at the paperwork. "There's not much we can do," he said. Marcus pointed toward the camera footage information. "Sir, the park has cameras. Maybe you could check them." The officer sighed. "You people always think everything is a police emergency." Marcus froze. He didn't argue. He simply looked at the officer and said, "I'm not asking for special treatment. I'm asking you to do your job." The officer grabbed the complaint. Then, in front of Marcus, he ripped the paper into pieces. "Case closed," he said. "Now leave." Marcus stood there silently. For a moment, anger filled his chest. But then he remembered something his daughter had told him that morning. "Daddy, don't let angry people make you become angry too." Marcus picked up the pieces of paper from the floor. He looked at the officer and quietly said, "I hope you never treat someone else's child the way you treated mine." Then he walked out. Outside the station, Marcus sat in his car and finally let the tears fall. Not because of the stolen backpack. Because he felt invisible. He had worked hard his entire life. He had helped strangers, supported neighbors, and raised his daughter alone. Yet when he needed someone to listen, he couldn't even get a fair chance. What Marcus didn't know was that the elderly woman he had helped during the storm was connected to the police department. Her name was Eleanor Brooks. She was the retired mother of Police Chief Daniel Carter. That evening, Eleanor called her son. "Daniel," she said, "I need to tell you something." She explained how Marcus had helped her when her car broke down. She told him how he refused money and stayed until she was safe. Then she said, "Today, I saw that same man leaving your station with tears in his eyes." The chief immediately asked what happened. Eleanor told him everything. Chief Carter went silent. He knew exactly what kind of person his mother was. If she was calling him about someone, it mattered. The next morning, he reviewed the station cameras. He watched Officer Reynolds tear up Marcus's complaint. He watched Marcus pick up the pieces. And then he watched something that stayed with him. As Marcus walked away, a small police officer's memorial sticker fell from his wallet. It showed Marcus's late father, who had been a police officer years earlier. Chief Carter recognized the name. Marcus's father had once saved 3 children from a burning apartment building. The chief immediately called Marcus. "Mr. Williams, this is Chief Carter. I'd like you to come back to the station." Marcus hesitated. I don't want any trouble, Chief. You're not in trouble, Carter replied. You deserve an apology. When Marcus arrived, something unexpected happened. The entire station was standing in the lobby. Officers lined both sides of the room. Chief Carter walked toward Marcus and said, Sir, yesterday our station failed you. He turned toward Officer Reynolds. Officer, step forward. Reynolds looked nervous. Chief Carter continued, You didn't just disrespect a citizen. You disrespected a father who came here asking for help. Then the chief looked at Marcus. And I learned something else. You helped my mother when you didn't have to. You expected nothing in return. Marcus lowered his eyes. I just did what anybody should do. Chief Carter shook his head. No, you did what everybody should do, but not everybody does. Then the chief gave the order. Everyone, attention. The entire station stood straight. Present arms. Every officer raised a hand in salute. Marcus stood there speechless. The man who had been humiliated less than 24 hours earlier was now being honored by the entire department. Chief Carter handed Marcus a new complaint form. We're going to investigate this properly. Within days, the stolen backpack was found. The thief was identified through the park cameras, and Ava's backpack was returned. When Marcus opened it, the small notebook was still inside. His daughter hugged him so tightly that he could barely breathe. Daddy, you got it back. Marcus smiled through his tears. I told you we'd keep trying. But the story didn't end there. Chief Carter later asked Marcus to speak to the officers at a training meeting. Marcus stood in front of them and said, I don't want revenge against anyone. I just want you to remember something. Every person who walks through those doors is carrying a story you can't see. He paused. Some are scared. Some are angry. Some are tired. And some are just trying to protect their children. The room became silent. Then Marcus added, You don't have to know someone's whole story to treat them with kindness. Those words stayed with the officers. Officer Reynolds eventually apologized to Marcus personally. Marcus accepted the apology. Not because what happened was okay, but because he didn't want bitterness to control his heart. And that is what made Marcus different. He understood that kindness doesn't mean allowing people to hurt you. It means refusing to let their actions turn you into someone you are not. Sometimes kindness is helping a stranger in the rain. Sometimes it is listening to a frightened parent. Sometimes it is saying, I'm sorry. And sometimes, the greatest act of kindness is choosing forgiveness when anger would be easier. Marcus never became famous. He never received $1 million. He simply went back to work, came home to his daughter, and continued helping people whenever he could. But one thing had changed. People at that police station never forgot the day they stood together and saluted a single father. Because they learned that heroes don't always wear uniforms. Sometimes, heroes are exhausted fathers. Sometimes, they are strangers who stop in the rain. And sometimes, they are ordinary people who choose kindness even when the world gives them every reason not to. So the next time you have the chance to help someone, don't wait for recognition. Do it because kindness matters. Do it because someone may be having the hardest day of their life. And remember Marcus's simple lesson. You may never know what someone else is carrying. A small act of kindness could be the reason they keep going. And sometimes, the kindness you give today may come back tomorrow in a way you never imagined.